very extreme about the units that he makes. It's either a ton of Lings or a ton of Roaches, or when he gets the Mute attack, it was like, no, I'm only making Mutas, no Banelings this game, unlike Eternal Empire. But guys, we are going to be heading into the 5th and final game between these guys, and we are going to see whether it's going to be one of the greatest of all times going to the final, or a possible 2-time Intel Extreme Masters champion. And spawning in the bottom right of Triton, it is Rogue.
In the top left for Jin Green Wings, he is the Blue Terran, Maru. 4-time GSL champion. Has yet to actually get to those finals for IEM.
IEM's pretty tough, it seems, for the two GOATs.
Exactly. It would be amazing for any of these players to go up to that finals for a best of 7 against a Protoss Zest. But it would be cool for Rogue to be combating, like, who's going to be the 2-time champion, right? That would be the battle there. And for Maru, can he actually prove himself in the non-GSL tournaments? To be fair, he did actually prove himself in WSG, but, you know, let's not...
Just by the by, by the by. Yeah, the 4 GSL titles and the way that he won them, he was just so dominating for that period of time. Rogue, likewise, when he won, I think it was, he had to win GSL Super Tournament to get to BlizzCon.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
It was something along those lines, and he looked unstoppable then too. But right now, it's beautiful to see that I haven't seen these players in a while. Like, they don't regularly compete in all the online cups that you see. They've really saved everything up for this moment, and it's great to see that they're both seemingly in tip-top form.
Yeah, Maru actually, like, he usually is something that we kind of make fun of for his online performances, you know? He'll come into an online cup and then 2 racks twice and lose, and you're like, oh, are you okay? Like, are you good? And actually just wins GSL that same season, right? But this, for IEM, he did actually go through the qualifier online very convincingly on the North American server, too.
Maru's just a god, man. Like, I really can't hype this guy up enough, and the series that he's delivering so far is really cool, but it takes 2 to tango. The fact that Rogue is not just keep him up with him, but really giving him a super run for his money. I have no idea who's going to take this.
Yeah, I mean, imagine being someone who can actually watch all their practice games, too. Like, oh, gosh. I would pay a lot of money to be able to do that.
You know, you got a business plan right there.
Yeah, exactly, man. Once again, using the SCV Scout to also block Rogue. I mean, he did mess up on Ephemeron. That took so long to clean up. But, you know, last game, he actually ended up being okay against it. It is the NG block this time.
I do really wonder what the decision-making behind doing it or not doing it is, because on this map, I'm kind of like, oh, if I do an engineering bay block, they just take the other third base, whereas on Zen, it's even trickier, because you've only really got 1/3 you can take, but so far, it's been doing very well. Yeah. Maybe it came down to like the fact that he needed every mineral to get the second factory up and such.
That's exactly what I was thinking, as opposed to waiting a little bit longer for like a 3rd CC, for instance. He was more worried about the timing, but regardless. To talk about the map for a second here, as we see once again, Maru with great micro. The map Triton is actually one of our larger maps, but then just gets very small because the Terrans expand aggressively. So if he were to actually force Rogue here to also expand, quote-unquote, aggressively, which he's not forced to do, but if he were to expand on the other 3rd base option, that would actually put them so close together when it comes to the rally push, the bio push that we do very typically see on this map, and I totally anticipate Maru to do.
This engineering bay blocking, the more I see it, the more I like it. This creep spread, the first tumor has not been put, or it's just been put down at this moment. So that's at like 3:40. A lot of the good Zerg players, they tend to get out that first queen, and yeah, he saved enough energy to get the 2 out, and that's just the amount of good things that this engineering bay block does, and the fact that it's safe as well, the SCV Scout early on, I just love it from Maru.
Yeah. He's going to be going into Banshees. Okay, so he did this once before and then started to favor those Liberators. They were very good at distracting. The Banshees ended up not being enough of a surprise to Rogue, if you remember in that first game, nor did they end up helping against the 1-1 Roach push.
Decent scout by Rogue, though. That Overlord came in at the perfect position and will get away by the looks of it. Hellions kind of patrolling the map a little bit. Their job is just to keep creep spread at bay. Is this a 7th and 8th Hellion that he's making here, or?
That's what I was just wondering. I was like, isn't this the point where you stop making Hellions? No, if it's up to 8 Hellions, it is often with the intent to be very aggressive. And if you make any more, you actually start, or you're more suspicious of mech, but we know that that stim is on the way. So, okay, what's this? An armory at this time with stim and banshees?
Yeah, normally if you're going for that kind of armory, you get it before the stim, right? Because you need the gas as much as you can. There's a third base behind all this too. This is also very old school.
Yeah, exactly. It's also one of those things where that third CC is delayed oftentimes with the Hellbat push as we know it, like the normal Hellbat pushes. But Rogue, I mean, maybe this is all to do with actually keeping him in the dark. As the Overlord tries to get back in, it actually doesn't see very much. The Hellions poking forward, but that's not their true intent. It's more the armory. Like, he's waiting for the armory to do something here.
This is one of those builds that you might be like, man, this is so inefficient. I can do it better than him. But this is also one of those builds where if he's playing against a top-level opponent, which he is, he could be misreading this entirely and not be anticipating the follow-up Hellions or the Hellbat push at all. And the Baneling Nest is only halfway done, and that is far off. He realized that he's going for these evolution chambers very, very early, going for the upgrades, and this is going to be quite a difficult hole for Rogue, I do believe.
The two Banshees are still alive. There's a decent amount of Queens, and yes, absolutely bring that Spore Crawler forward because he also doesn't have that detection. But so many Hellbats on the ground as well, as Rogue is about as surprised as we were to see Hellbats at this time, and more Hellions coming in as well. Will he be able to accumulate enough Lings? They're getting barbecued instantly, but the Queens are trying their best to hold on.
Oh, the Queens are falling here. A Hellion sneaks into the third base, even bringing the Marines along for this attack. Back at home, he's getting the +1 upgrades, combat shields, and everything. So it is a good follow-up, but a nice hold by Rogue. And so far, I don't think he lost any drones to that.
Yeah, for not seeing it and not having any Banelings, that was actually a very, very good hold. Like, Maru, he did delay his upgrades, which was already something he was going to be behind on anyways with Rogue's build choice, but he delayed those upgrades. He delayed more what we would usually say important factory production, because we, again, don't usually see Hellions past a certain point unless you're doing mech, but Maru is really, he's flexing with these Hellions, man. He's showing us different ways to use that factory.
I do like Rogue's position in this game, though, and the fact that he's gone for Spire here, too. As you said, Triton's absolutely one of the larger maps in the pool. It's wiggly, too, how the army tries to cross the map, but Mutas are a choice that normally you make them when you're a little bit ahead, so you can keep the Terran at bay. They're not really a great defensive unit. I'm making a tiny little error here with the pathing there on the SCVs, but this is scary. An extra macro hatch as well. So that means that he's definitely going to be committing to a lot of Lingbane Muta.
I mean, now Maru going for the Hellions, like, he could try and use them as Hellions. That can be effective. You can micro a lot with that, as opposed to just, like, A-moving them basically with the Hellbats. And I do want to see that, because I felt like that was something he was going to do the first time we saw this, that kind of ended prematurely. Last game, it was Roaches anyways. But now we get to see what he thinks of Hellions as that micro tool alongside a typical Marine push.
I like that he scanned there.
Hellbats.
Yeah, it is. And this is actually quite a scary push. Look at the 1-1 lining up here as well. He's hoping not to fight before that is done. But is that enough Banelings to take out this army? This is a very scary push by Maru.
Yeah, he needs to split his Hellbats as well. Because again, like, I mean, they're chunkier than Marines, absolutely. Oh, well, SCVs aren't chunkier. Goodbye, SCVs. 10 of them go down. But are they actually enough? When Rogue recognizes this is the composition he's going for, you can just, I feel like you just kind of over-make Banelings a little bit and then get a wrap around, and it's still very successful. Whereas the tanks can be farther back. You know, you don't want to use Banelings on tanks, obviously. Is this actually going to work for Maru? He's really desperate to make this work. He's pushing so far on a creep. The Banelings are done. They have surgical hooks, and he is forced to get out of there.
Really good medevac micro on those pickups, though, but it's a great cleanup by Rogue. And I think Maru, the fact that he was pushing so hard on creep there, didn't really realize. Oh, great Widowmine hit. I don't think Maru realized about the fourth base, the other fourth base of Rogue here.
That is a very good point. That is a very good point. Maybe could have been pushing there instead, at least dealing some damage to it, clearing up creep, as that will be a continued problem. But now he knows. Now he's going to direct his push towards this fourth base, not the right side one. And he is into the more typical factory production, as I was talking about. Widow Mines is the choice. He's got to, he knows about the mutas. So, oh, Widow Mines, stop slashing back. I don't believe he's gone for any defense against the mutas because he knows they're going to be used offensively first.
Oh, that Baneling. You saw Rogue try to counter micro against it, but almost out-microed himself there.
But Rogue does really have to keep these mutas back at home. He can't go across the map quite yet. Maru is really piling on the pressure. He's going to split away from these Banelings, but actually some decent hits, but more Marines come forward, and that is a huge concave from Artarian. Rogue needs to back up, needs to get on his own creep spread.
That is so many Marines. This fourth base of Rogue is being gutted here. Rogue, while being very far ahead in upgrades, it feels like a lot of his gas has gone into units that he can't even use right now, and this is a huge supply block too.
Oh, absolutely huge. So many overlords around that fourth base. Very surprisingly, he's going to have to make that and be temporarily just stuck on the army he has. Now with creep spread with banelings, you think you have some time, but that Marine is going to go ahead and scout the other base.
I love the way that he's playing. He's playing safe. He's going around the map. He won't get the full scout off here, but maybe he can tell by the fact that these mutas, what are you doing over here on this side of the map? You don't need to do anything here. So I think this will actually provoke Maru into focusing on that left side of the map now.
This is feeling a little more like the Eternal Empire game where Maru is just controlling Rogue. Rogue, if he gets one great muta harassment, if he gets one great run by, can really change the momentum and start to take over the map like he would want with bases and creep spread, but he's got to get that one moment. The mutas are trying to start that here, but a couple of supply depots is not really what he's looking for.
No, certainly, but this is a flock of mutas that you have to respect. The Widowmines, obviously, they're great against mutas, but mutas microed well with an Overseer can deal with them for sure, and this is causing Maru quite a few problems already. The medevac's getting picked up as well. Not good news for Maru.
Yeah, he is aware of what Rogue was going to try there, and once again, trying to find those mutas, but Rogue's paying attention this time. But also the right side not working out. More mutas are being added. Finally, the upgrade as well. Rogue looking stronger on that army, on the overall supply for sure, although he is once again supply blocked, but still very low on that creep spread. He's not controlling and enveloping the map like this style would want.
No, but he did a damn good job of catching up in supply once again. And it's really good for Maru that he's caught up in upgrades, but on the other hand, Rogue caught up in army supply. He's also got a fourth base running, soon a fifth base as well. And oh, nice quick cancel by Maru.
That was pretty bold against Mutiling Baneling. You put it on location, but apparently Maru was like, nah, I got this, it's fine. And I think he does, because he has that 2-2 push, right? And this is something that Rogue is once again going to be forced to use everything in his arsenal to defend against, because it is a very scary push. Utilizing this choke once again, he is being very aggressive on creep, however.
This is so darn scary, and he's got this little squad to the left side, so he can see the flank of Rogue, but is this too far forward by the young Terran here?
It's so aggressive, but I guess Rogue is like, his armies are too far apart to actually be utilized correctly. So Maru, even though he's on creep, he actually didn't get surrounded, but this is a counter at this point. It's a run by at this point. Rogue just looking to get some serious economical damage. He once again got that fourth base. He's going to get a lot of SCVs to the third, and Maru is going to have his momentum completely cut here.
Rogue is playing this beautifully. He's got the mutas being exactly where he wants them. On the other side of the map, he's playing defensive with the Ling and Baneling. He's teching up to Hive while all this is going on. He's also got double the worker count of his opponent. Rogue's in a super good spot now.
Maru's really fallen behind. He's still got an okay army, in fact, even army supply that can do well with the splash, a couple of lucky hits here and there. But that 4th CC on location was so greedy. If he had had it in the main, I think he'd have a 4th CC to actually utilize, even if his SCV count isn't looking too pretty. But now forced to transfer his main over. Things are starting to feel a little bit desperate for Terran as Rogue really takes control.
Oh yeah, certainly. This is a really dicey spot for Maru. He's kind of okay with sitting back a little bit, but the thing is, his opponent's mining so much more than him. He's even floating over his orbital command from his main base here as a 4th instead, just given that he's so low on resources.
And it's terrible when they have to do this, because then like 6 Lings suddenly are a big deal as opposed to a planetary taking care of them. But if you can push from this location as well, then you're kind of defending and attacking. It's just that, I mean, the base closest to this push would be the bottom left, I suppose, right? And there's still creep to clean up. That's still such a far away position to attack into. And all this time, Rogue, I mean, he's on Mutiling Baneling, but he has ideas of the future, more upgrades and ultras.
Yeah, and I think Maru did just scan that. He's also got 3-3 nearly complete here, and given that he's only on 43 SCVs right now, his army is massive. We haven't seen it all on one screen yet, just given that it's been all over the map, but this is a very large army. Those Banelings rolling in to the bio. I think he just lost a lot of bio to those Banelings as well.
Yeah, I think he might have looked back at the run by, and that's exactly when Rogue's Banelings hit his face, basically. That is not a very convincing supply, but it is doing something. The Banelings roll in rather inefficiently, but so much of the army is actually on the other side of the map for Rogue, looking to turn this into a base race.
Oh, this is really, really great. Rogue is everywhere. Lings in every base. Mutas in the bases as well. Maru's trying to do what he can. He has to try and clean up these Banelings before they finish, but Rogue's having none of it. So many Banelings by Rogue just crashing into Maru, and Maru dwindling in supply very, very quickly.
He's currently at half the supply. He's down a ton of orbitals. He's absolutely desperate to make this work on the front lines, but he's on creep. Rogue has plenty of bases to work with, and Maru is forced to tap out. Rogue is going to go to the finals to face Zest in a best-of-7 ZvP to determine who will be our first two-time IEM champion.
What a beautiful story. Both the greatest, or both the GOATs go up against the previous Intel Extreme Masters Katowice champions, but these guys are so consistent. They just turn into something else, something magical when it comes to playing on this stage, and it's so great to see Rogue eke it out in the end.